Now what we're going to talk about is an organization and building an organization. This is where the time and financial freedom is going to come from, and the massive passive income and the big residual is going to come from building an organization. So what I want to do is talk about systems. First off, we have in our systems, we have a filtering process. We already know this is not going to be for everybody. We don't want everybody in our business because we already know that if they haven't passed through some of these filtering processes, we're going to spend a lot of time and energy. It's going to be a waste because they're not going to stick around. They're going to think this isn't working. It's because they're not implementing our systems. The three things that characteristics of that we are looking for is, one, they're coachable. If they are coachable, that means that that they're going to follow the directions of whatever it is you're directing them to. Method of exposure. Two, if they have a pre-existing need. If they don't have a pre-existing need, and if their why isn't big enough, then they're not going to spend the time, effort, and energy that is needed for this business. And that could be anything from college tuition, from maybe a spouse losing a job, or spouse being ill, and so on. Third thing is they have to be in action mode. If they are not already implementing something to take action, then it's probably not going to work either. If they're looking for a way to resolve that issue, that problem, that situation, if they've already looked in the newspaper or maybe the internet how to create some income to defray that college tuition, whatever it is, if they're in action mode, again, that is the third thing that we're looking for in the filtering process. Again, they have all three, then we have much better results. So those are the three filtering characteristics. Now, really, there's only two questions, by the way, that people are wondering about if they're looking at this business. One, can I do this business? Two, will it work for me? And if they can answer those two questions, then they, and by the implementing the systems, you will see how they can easily answer those questions. So what we're going to talk about next is something called conversation versus demonstration. Now, what you don't want to be is the conversation. You don't want to be going on and on about all the technological savviness and the cool things we have and the this and the that, and spending all this time explaining, because the first thing they're going to say is, I can't do this business. I don't have the time to learn what he or she has just demonstrated. So the demonstration needs to be that you direct them to a method of exposure. That would be anything from a website, a portion of a website. That can be a video email. That can be a live broadcast, an archived broadcast. How easy is that? You simply direct them to a method of exposure, and you want to find out when they're going to be going to that item, that whatever it is you've directed them to, and you want to lock in a pretty rough time. Is it going to be this morning? Is it going to be this afternoon? Is it going to be tonight? Is it going to be tomorrow morning? And you want to be able to give them ample time, but then you want to schedule a follow-up. The reason you say you want to schedule a follow-up is because you want to, while the questions are fresh in their mind, you want to be able to get those questions answered. But meanwhile, it's locking them into a time, because otherwise people, if it's open-ended, well, sometime in the next couple of weeks, that's not going to work. They're not going to do it. That's going to get postponed and postponed. So that would be part of the systems as well. And what you want to be is the messenger. For direct sales, you could be the expert. You could know what you're talking about. We talked about that in the other video. But here you are the messenger. Our message is that we have a great opportunity, and you want to be able to direct them to a method of exposure and schedule a follow-up, three-way follow-up call. We'll talk about that in another video as well. But leveraging the team, when you do schedule the follow-up, you can answer a couple questions. But when they get into more than a couple questions, then what you want to do is tell that person that you are working with the top, one of the top people in the company, and you want to get their questions answered correctly. Maybe you're new to the team, you can say that as well. But if you're not, you can just say, this person is really is really a seasoned member of the team, top person in the company, and that person has provided a certain amount of time for me every day to because just I'm very excited about this platform, and I'm very devoted to making sure that the questions are answered correctly. So find out a couple blocks of time that that person is going to be available, your prospect, and then find out when the leader can be on that call so that it can be scheduled. Usually 1 or 2 times is always workable. So and then again, we'll talk about some of the features of the 3-way call later. But what has that demonstrated? Your prospect doesn't have to know anything. Wow, how easy is this? Direct them to a method of exposure, live broadcast, whatever. Schedule a follow-up, get questions answered, and if I don't, if I wouldn't know the questions and I can get someone on the phone, obviously there's team support here. That's demonstrating for one. It's demonstrating that they haven't had to duplicate any kind of skill sets that you might have in your career because you haven't demonstrated them to them. They haven't seen that you are technologically savvy because you haven't had to demonstrate that. You haven't had to demonstrate business savviness either because you directed them to a tool, got someone on the phone to answer the questions. Easy, they can do this business. So that's the importance of the systems. You want to, when you're approaching people, there's 3 buckets of categories, really. When you're broaching the subject of the opportunity and talking to people, there is verbiage that we'll recommend, but very easy. People are going to fit in 3 categories. One, they're going to be your peers, your friends, colleagues. That can be the very tough group, by the way, because they already think they know you for whatever it is they know you for. So they're to launch a new business that might be they don't know you for that, so it's going to be a tough thing for them to adjust. But simply like you would promote the hottest restaurant, hottest movie. Hey, you got to check something out. You're not going to believe what I found. And they're going to check it out and might be interested, might not. That will be your toughest group. The people who look up to you for whatever reason they do look up to you for, that will be that'll be an easy group, but it's not going to be your powerful players, by the way. But simply, that's an easy group because simply all you have to do is just say, grab a paper, grab a pen, got to write down this broadcast time or write down this link and check it out, and I'll call you back at 5 o'clock. They already are looking up to you for, again, whatever they're looking up to you for, and they're going to follow your direction because they already respect you for whatever it is they respect you for. The best group is going to be people who are above you in level, the people that are the successful in their own right already. Maybe the broker who has 15 offices scattered around the city, successful real estate broker, and simply the way you want to talk to them is, and this is a powerful group because they're already successful. They're going to be hanging around with those kinds of people. But what you want to do is call them up and say, I know you're busy, Mr. Jenkins, and I respect, I know you're very a renowned real estate broker in this whole city, and I respect that, and I respect your opinion, and I'd love to be able to just ask if you could do me a favor and just spend about 3 minutes and check out something for me and let me know what your thoughts are. And if you've already complimented them, they are appreciative of that, and they usually are willing to help. And you're not committing much time on their part. 3 minutes they feel is workable. What will happen most likely is they get into your website, get into whatever it is. They're going to be spending more time, but that's their call. But then again, schedule a follow-up based on whenever they feel they are going to be able to look at what you've directed them to. So that is the 3 different categories. Now, you want to stay plugged in. You definitely want to stay plugged into the company newsletters, all kinds of company. There's Facebook wall for the company. There is a comm center. The team, our team has a newsletter. They have a Facebook, very interactive Facebook wall, a lot of help, a lot of advice, a lot of suggestions, a lot of sharing. And you definitely want to tune into the leadership. We have a team broadcast every week, and the company has a broadcast as well, many broadcasts. So to plug in, that is where that is crucial. Also connect with your team. There's a lot of team members who are going to be here ready to help you. So you definitely want to tap into them as well. And but once you start building an organization, you want to work with those who are working, and that is you will find the people who are plugging in and doing, playing the part here and doing all of what we've laid out. That is who the leader is going to spend the time with, because there's not enough time, not enough hours in the day to waste time otherwise. So hopefully that's been helpful. That's building an organization. We're going to take it to another level here in a minute. We're going to get into getting started and the ways to success once you do build an organization.